I think you guys will need these today. Big Sills National Football Show. Welcome to a national championship Monday night and the conclusion of the National Football League's regular season. A lot of storylines coming out of the weekend. Let's start with the Eagles versus the JV Giants. Pathetic, worst performance of the year. That was a joke that you went into the fourth quarter with your hurt quarterback. Your coaches, once again, showing the inability to close teams out. One of the worst coach games of the year, and one of the least effort games of the year. You were playing scrubs. Nothing positive came out of that game except this. Well, we won. Congratulations. You are not better than the Niners. You are not. It is not close. If Tyrod Taylor had played in that game, the Giants would have beat you. You're lucky the Giants put the white flag up before the game. Tyrod Taylor would have beat you. Some dude named Webb, I've never heard of. Half the team that the Giants put on the field, I've never heard of. They were throwing to people that they hated, Galladay, and then the rest of those stiffs. Unbelievable. And you're going to sit around and tell me you think that the Eagles are with great momentum going into the postseason. That was a trash effort and a horrifically coached football team. It's been a month of bad coaching, and it's on display. You can't close out the junior varsity Giants. That was disgusting. Honestly, man, that was a horrible effort. You cannot feel good about your football team going into the postseason. That's a shit-ass effort. You're supposed to be closing this thing out. You went, hey, so wait a minute. Let me get this right. And I know what some of you idiots are going to say. Sills, they didn't want to show anything. It was a vanilla offense. So you thought it was in the best interest to play a hurt quarterback who the coach came out and said he was really hurting 60 minutes of football. You thought that was the smart thing to do. Wow. How blinded are some of you? Here's some of the takeaways. It was a junior varsity football team you played. Nothing positive. Nothing positive. Except this. You won. Other than that, worst effort of the year, worst game of the year. You know, I promised you this on Friday. I thought you'd win this game 48-10. Remember what I said on Friday? Here's what I'm looking for. How you coach Jalen and how you coach the roster. The New York Giants made a game of it. Dude, if I'm the Giants, I'm very thrilled with my backups. That was a hell of an effort by those guys. I'll tell you this, if I'm the Giants, I feel better about my team than your team right now. It was embarrassing. Play calling was atrocious. Dude, they ran the ball for over 130 or 125 or 8 yards, whatever it was, with scrubs. With scrubs. They had scrubs in the game. Jalen Hurts sucked in that game. He was terrible. I mean, they played their starters into the fourth quarter. Jack Driscoll's terrible. You're fired. Step into my office. TJ Edwards, once again, struggling to cover backs and tight ends. I mean, you got to be kidding me. By the numbers. Take a look at this. 22-16 against scrubs. The scrub team scored 16 points on you. Holy shit. First downs, Eagles 23-18. This was a game. Total yards, 342 to 284 versus scrubs. Rushes, 135, So wait a minute. The New York Giants with a bunch of scrub offensive line and scrub offensive players ran the ball for 130 yards on you. You can't stop the run. It was a small Band-Aid, but the scab is showing again. They were more disciplined than the starters on the Eagles. 4 penalties for 30. You had 8 penalties for 66. You were not engaged to play this game, even though it was an important closeout game. What a shitty effort. What a shitty coach team that was. Jalen Hurts, 20 of 45, 229 and a pick. Awful performance. Boston Scott was playing with great energy. 9 carries, 54 yards. Gee, really? A.J. Brown, 4 catches, 95 yards, and Devonta 7 for 67. Where in the world is Miles Sanders? Where's Miles Sanders in this whole thing? Where's your Pro Bowl running back the last month? Holy cow. That was a terrible effort. Terrible effort. What'd you think? You were going to get cheerleading here on a shit effort versus JVs and backups? Boy, Brian Dable's a great coach. 10 times the coach that Sirianni's group is. That thing is training wheels. And I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to throw this at you here. You tell me. Here's the first topic. Biggest weakness going into the postseason. Offense, defense, special teams, or coaching. Who do you think is the biggest weakness going into the postseason for this football team? Who is the biggest weakness? Biggest 14-3, you'll get killed by the Niners. You will be killed by them. 14-3. You're the worst 3-loss team in the league. Not a problem to say that. Niners are better, Chiefs are better, Bills are better. Probably Bengals are better. Easily. Teams I mentioned are playing all better ball. They got momentum. Bengals have momentum. Bills have momentum. Chiefs have momentum. 49ers have won 10 straight. And the Eagles, well, they're just limping into the postseason. You guys look at it, gas and uninspired. That was an uninspired effort in a critical game. And you had to play your starters again versus stiffs. The Giants were looking for guys on the practice squad to play. Your coaches are inexperienced. Look, let me go here again. When healthy, the Philadelphia Eagles are right there as the best team in the league, and you can make that comment, and I'm comfortable with that. I said that at the beginning of the season, that you'll have the deepest roster in the league, and it's played itself out that way. And with career performances by many of the Eagle guys this year, it's turned out to be potentially the best roster in the league. But without some of your players and your quarterback hurt and the inexperience of your coaching staff, I'll tell you something else. Your coaching staff has been exposed the last month. It's not the players. This is not on the players. Here's another statement for you. I watched a guy in Jacksonville on Saturday night coach his ass off. I watched the coaching staff in Jacksonville win a division title. I watched the coach turn a quarterback's life around and a franchise's future. Doug Peterson in the next 10 years, let's do 5 years because usually what a coach's life is. He'll win more division titles than what Nick Sirianni is. By the way, they're both 1-1 now. That's right. They're both 1-1. He won one in Jacksonville. Nick got his this year. Jacksonville's playing better right now than what the Eagles are playing. Dude, that was a hell of a coaching job. And it was on display, the patience they had. And you're going, get this, Doug wasn't just coaching against some shitball coach. He was coaching against the reigning NFL Coach of the Year in Mike Vrabel. That is a hell of a franchise. And Doug coached his pants off. That's how you close a team out. That's how you win a division title. Bro, Doug Peterson was fired by Howie Roseman. And if the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl, this goes back to that poor decision by the owner and also by the general manager. Got Jags beating Chiefs in an upset. Malcolm, that could easily happen. They're playing great ball, and so is Lawrence. If the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl, it'll be because they have an inexperienced coaching staff and they fired a guy who could be the coach of the year. I said that on Friday to you. And it's playing itself out. What a job by Doug. What a job by Doug. Unbelievable. Tremendous. And you know what you sit here doing? To me, I am convinced 100% the majority of those statistics on that side of the football for the Eagles, I think they're fool's gold. How many times do we watch quarterbacks, nobody quarterbacks, with high completion percentages or guys who walk off the freaking street and complete passes against that weak-ass zone coverage? What's the guy Webb's name? What's the guy Webb's first name? Could someone help me? What's Webb's first? This guy hadn't thrown a pass in 7 years in the NFL. 7 years. And he was completing passes against the so-called best corners in the game. Really? Really? Davis Webb. You're kidding me. Who's Davis Webb? Do you know what Ken Dorsey told me? Ken Dorsey told me they made a pitch to this kid Webb to be the quarterback coach for the Bills. This guy's a school teacher. A school teacher made it a game against the vaunted Eagles. A school teacher. Embarrassing. That's an embarrassing effort. You're not ready to play the playoffs. And you got 1 week instead of 2 weeks because you had to play your guys. Dude, this has got one and done written all over it. It's got one and done written all over it. All over it. Jalen sucked. It's the first game that I've said that Jalen has sucked all year and since last year. He sucked. Overthrows, underthrows, taking off, covering, shitty play calling again. It was terrible. The only guy that looked halfway deep, the two guys. Yeah, because you know what? They're getting pass happy with those great wideouts. And they're trying to win games from the perimeter. And they're not a perimeter team. But we got 2,000-yard receiver, Sills. Yeah, okay. How you playing the last month? Good or bad? Watch this. Let's match it up. You think you're playing better than the Bengals? No. You think you're playing better than the Chiefs? No. Do you think you're playing better than the Niners? Hell no. You're not playing better ball against any of them teams. Hey, and just to keep it fair, the Dallas Cowboys are a one-and-done team. Dak Prescott is terrible. Dak is terrible. Terrible. He kills that team's chances of winning. Honestly, he kills that team's chances of winning. If I'm Jerry Jones, I move off of him and Mike McCarthy in the offseason. But then again, Mike McCarthy, what will it matter? What will it matter? Wow. That's how you win the regular season? And some of you are going, well, Sills, we got the win. We got home field. Won't matter. Won't matter. Won't matter playing like – you are not going anywhere playing like that. You are not. You are not – I'll tell you this. Compared to that 2017 team versus the 2022 team, who's in better shape going into the postseason? Who do you think was in better shape? The 17 Eagles or the 2022 Eagles? Who's in better shape, you think? I mean, Better physical shape to go into the postseason. Who do you think's in better shape? Shit, 17. You know why? Those guys had attitudes. Those guys wanted to go out and play and beat teams up. This team, I don't know. They show up. 22 is not better than 2017. Top to bottom, it's not. You actually had a coach. You actually had a coordinator. You actually had an offensive play caller. And you actually had a football team that was hungry. And they still weathered injuries. No way could this 22 team beat the 2017 team. Never in a million years. Never in a million years could this team beat that 2017 team. No way. You're not going to outcoach Doug Peterson. You're not going to outcoach that staff. You're not. That team is good, 2022. Don't get me wrong. That team would wipe the floor with you. They would wipe the floor. You know why? They had a tougher attitude than this team. Okay? Tougher attitude. Sills, this team's got better and more sacks. That didn't matter in 17 when they were playing against people like Tom Brady. You pile these stats up against David Mills, Daniel Webb, Tyler Heineke, all these shitty quarterbacks. I have never seen a season where you didn't play against one top-flight quarterback all year long except for Aaron Rodgers, and he got bounced this year. The rest of them have been dogs. You played nobody. And I'm talking quarterbacks. You know why the sack total's high? Because when you're not experienced in the pocket, you run into sacks. And you played against some of the worst O-lines in the league. That team and that defense is nowhere near the Niners defense. Nowhere near the Niner defense. They've got the best defensive player in the league. They've got the best linebacker in the league. They've got one of the top 3 DBs in the league. You got a lot of soul searching to do. Can the Eagles turn it around? What would make you think that? The coaching? Jalen? Get this. I feel good about Jalen turning it around. I don't feel good about those guys. Hurts was terrible. Terrible. Silsy's hurt. No shit. That's the point of this. That's the point. Their poise and patience on that coaching staff ought to be desired. They're not very good play callers. Shane Steichen is not a good play caller. He is not a good play caller. I pray that guy gets a job somewhere, and he's a Nathaniel Hackett. That guy has Nathaniel Hackett written all over it. He is not a good play caller. He's inexperienced on how to deal with players. His youth, this is Nathaniel Hackett all over. Please go somewhere. Bring Frank in. Please get some experience on that staff before it's too late. Please. Man, that was terrible. Let me think about the positives. You won. You got home field. Thank God. Thank God you played a JV team because you didn't surely show up. Give this team kudos, Dan, or go cover another team. No. I'll put it to you this way, 85. You don't like what I'm saying? Go find another show. I'm not going anywhere. And if you don't like to hear the truth, 85, that's the problem with some of you blinded Eagle fans. Why do you think I give a shit? Because I care. Worry when I don't cover your freaking team. Worry when I'm not. Because then you're irrelevant and you're the Jets. Or you're the Bears. Okay? The Eagles are close, 85. to being and doing something great. Don't let something stupid, like poor effort and poor coaching, get in the way. Yeah, that 14-1 record is a mirage. It's a mirage. I don't give a shit about records. I care how you're playing going into the postseason, and you're not playing well. You haven't played well for a month. Look at the dog shit quarterbacks you've played. David Webb. Who's the guy week before? Who's the guy the week before? The Saints guy. Andy Dalton, Dak, and Fields, who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn throwing the ball. Those are the 4 dudes you've played? You better have 100 sacks. Holy shit. Terrible. Now the question is this. Can they turn it around? They haven't for a month. And what gets me about the press conference that the coach had, we got to do a better job of play calling, and Jalen was really hurting. So you once again didn't come up with a game plan for your injured quarterback, but because you were so panicked, you played these guys 60 minutes, all of them, the entire unit. How funny is that? Not funny, really. I'm saying that sarcastically. Don't you think Jason Kelce would have liked to have had a rest? Guys couldn't close out. The JV Giants. I had Frank Reich to this staff. Dude. Okay. Frank Wright and DiFilippo were the best coaches, and Doug without those guys in 2022 teams. Doug wanted Wentz over Hurts. Don't want that Doug. Yeah, well, how about this? I want that Doug that just won a division title in Jacksonville. And the reason that he got into an argument and knew that Jacksonville job was going to be open, who do you think Doug Peterson wants to coach? Trevor Lawrence or Jalen Hurts for the next 10 years? Ask yourself as a coach, who would you want to have as your play caller? Jalen Hurts or Trevor Lawrence? It's a slam dunk. Give me Trevor Lawrence any day. That's a franchise quarterback. That's a quarterback that's going to win titles from the pocket. You give me Trevor Lawrence any day, any night, anytime. Any day. I would never in a billion years take Jalen Hurts over Trevor Lawrence. Never would I do that. Never. This coaching staff compared to Doug Peterson's coaching staff in Jacksonville, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Kudos, Doug. And look at this guy right here going, Doug beat Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs would have beat the Eagles on Sunday. You had a guy who hadn't thrown a pass in 7 years. Almost come back and beat you. That's the way you play going into the playoffs? That's some momentum you got going there, dog. That's terrible. The worst game of the year. Watch this. That game you played against the Giants, and the most important game of the year. That was the most important game of the year. You played your worst game. Even the Dallas and the Washington game, even those games, even the Saints, that game was worse. Hey, man. I picked the Eagles and Bills in the Super Bowl. I don't know, man. I'm not going to change it, but shit. That does not look – that team is not a Super Bowl contending football team right now, the Eagles. They are not. They're going to have to – because right now they got to flip a switch because for the last month it's been dog shit. So they got to flip a switch. And if they flip that switch, then I'm wrong. We'll see. I do not believe it. Like, I don't think the Bucs can flip a switch. I don't think the Cowboys can flip a switch. I think those teams all have one and done written all over them. The only reason I give the Bucs any chance is because it's a weak-ass NFC and Brady. That's it. That's it. Hurts was terrible. Terrible. That was a terrible effort. Watch this. You don't get credit for gutting through shit. You don't get credit for that. Hey, welcome to the NFL. You're hurt? Hey, well, it is week 18. You don't get credit for gutting shit out. Wow. Whew, man. I'll tell you one thing the Eagles have done. They've made the NFC playoff race very interesting. Very interesting. That AFC thing, they've got the Herberts. They've got the Allens and Burrows and Mahomeses. I mean, they got dudes all over that. All over that conference. That's going to be some great-looking football. Here's a matchup that you can't wait to see. Geno Smith versus Daniel Dimes-Jones. Wow. Okay. Hey, you got to put that on primetime, dog. Would you agree that Sirianni is a puff at the ownership? I feel he only got the job because he's Laurie and Howie's guy. Totally. That's how Mike McCarthy got the job. Basically, what you do is the Eagles run the organization the same way the Cowboys do. You didn't win the Super Bowl in 17 because of management. You won the Super Bowl in 17 because of coaching and players going out there and playing their ass off. You see how he took that dimension out of the building. Coaches coaching their ass off. That's going to be your demise. He took the one dynamic that you had in 17 that was able to overcome injuries. You know what that is? Coaching. You don't have it. You have no coaching on that team. No, Stoutland, excuse me. The rest of those coaches, dude, seriously, it's not a very good coaching staff. I don't give a shit what they do. And you're right. Jalen has carried that football team and the shitty schedule across the finish line. Kudos to Jalen. Jalen might actually be he's not going to be the most valuable player, but he may be the most valuable person to a team because he covers shitty coaching. You're never going to say that in Kansas City with Mahomes and Andy Reid. You're just not. You're not going to say that with Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, shitty coaching and shitty play. You're just not. Only in Philly and in Dallas do you say that. Shitty coaching, shitty management. Doug Peterson won that Super Bowl. And you know what? The results, they're not in question. Doug's first opportunity to take over he not only follow me here. Doug Peterson not only took over a train wreck of a situation in Jacksonville, he took over the absolute shitty Jaguars, who this was their fourth division title in franchise history. Fourth in his first year. A thing that people thought may take him 3 years. He turns that fucking thing around and that quarterback around. Dude, if you're in Philadelphia, you've got to be asked. Nobody will ever ask the question because the weak-ass media in Philly would never sit there and ask Howie Roseman this question. What's your take and what's your thoughts on Doug winning the division title in his first year and turning Trevor Lawrence around? You know what you should do? If the Eagles get bounced, that's my second question to him. You think if you didn't fire Doug, this team would have went further? Come on, man. Dude, Jalen Hurts is so important to the Eagles. Wow. Dude, do you notice one thing in that football game, too, against the Giants when he couldn't run? They didn't want him to run. What did you notice? More 3-and-outs. More overthrown passes. If Jalen can't run on a consistent basis, that RPO offense looks terrible. Like it or not, the Eagles credit, they have 3 head coaches in the playoffs. Yeah, and they fired 2 of them. Fired Andy Reid, and you fired Doug Peterson. One guy got you to 5 conference title games, and the other guy won you the Super Bowl, and you fired both of them. And you thought you made a right decision on Chip Kelly. Sounds like things are going well. And now you get the tree planter telling us how great it is, how everything is. You know what? I look at Doug Peterson, and I go, that's a coach. I look at Matt LaFleur with the Packers, and I look at Nick Sirianni and go, thank God you got quarterbacks, dude. Thank God you got quarterbacks. Let me tell you something else about the players. I give the players so much credit for playing. Listen, they didn't give great effort in the first half. They came out in the second half, and they were going to make sure that that game was not going to be something that they were going to lose. Okay? All right? They were going to make sure of it. I want you guys to know something. Hey, 85, I love your players. I love your players. I love your players. Gannon will be Texans coach, and we promote Fangio. 85, I hear Fangio's going with Sean Payton wherever he goes. He's already committed to him. If he gets the Charger job, if Staley gets bounced in the opening round, I think they could fire him. And Sean Payton could get that job. I'd want that job if I was Sean Payton. Bo's on the other side. Then you got Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. You got a bunch of good-looking dudes on that team, man. I'd want that job. That job, to me, is probably the most coveted job that's out there that could potentially have a turnover in a coach. Who would want Indy? Who would want Carolina? Who would want Arizona? Look at the poor management. So wait a minute. In Arizona, they just fired Cliff Kingsbury today. And in the offseason, they gave the quarterback $46.1 million. They extended the GM, Keim, who stepped down today. And they gave the coach a 3-year contract. And now he's fired and all of them are out. How is that a job? Or how about the Texans? 4 coaches in 4 years. I don't know, man. Where are you going? Where are you going in Houston? The McNair family's a joke. Where are you going? Indianapolis is a joke. Where are you going with those jobs? You're not going anywhere. You know why? Shitty ownership. Hey, here's a guy here that should be considered for Coach of the Year. You ready for this? Ron Rivera should be Coach of the Year. Look at who he's working for. And they finished 8-1 in Washington. 8-1, and he used 3 quarterbacks. That's coaching. Ron's a great coach. He's just in an ass environment. Dude. Unbelievable, man. Ron, 8-1, and he beat the Eagles. Unbelievable. Defense played like shit, I agree. That's on Gannon. Jalen hasn't thrown a pass in over 2 weeks, but that wasn't his worst game. Oh, I thought it was. I thought he looked terrible. Hey, so look at Philiopolis. This guy has nothing on the Washington Commanders. And he goes 8-1. And he beat the Eagles. I don't know. Will you split with Washington? You split with them. Really? Jalen Hurts didn't throw for 4K. I was wrong with the 1,000-yard receiver, and I said your coaches are shit. Pretty good number to me. Pretty good number to me. Yeah, okay. You're playing great ball. Oh, man, I can't. I wish I could change my pick. I can't. I can't because you're going to get bounced. I know it. I know it because you're not prepared to play. This team's going to get bounced. It's written all over it. Hey, by the way, real quick. I want to show you something. You know what this is called? Congratulations, guys. This is the 4K. This is the 4K club. And I want to show you something that they all have in common with one another. You ready for this? Patrick Mahomes, 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns. Number 1 seed in a bye. Justin Herbert, 700 attempts. Playoffs, 4,739 and 25 touchdowns. Playoffs. Tom Brady, 4,694, 25 touchdowns. Playoffs. Kirk Cousins, 45, 47, 29 touchdowns. Playoffs. Joe Burrow, 4,475, 35 touchdowns. Playoffs. Jared Goff, winning season. Knocked the Packers out. 4,438, 29 touchdowns. Josh Allen, 4,283 yards, 35 touchdowns. Playoffs. Geno Smith, 4,282 and 30 touchdowns. Playoffs. Trevor Lawrence, 4,113 yards and 25 touchdowns. Playoffs. Every one of these guys here either are in the playoffs or had a winning record. Congratulations to the 4,000 passing group. These are franchise guys. These are guys that are going to win games because they throw balls from the pocket. There you go. There's the 4,000 group. There's the 4,000 passing club. Hey, funny, I don't see Jalen's name there. What happened? No Jalen Hurts. No Jalen Hurts. That club's not for you, man. It'll never be for you. That club is not for you. That's for real signal callers and people who throw the ball around the yard. Jared Goff. Jared Goff had twice the year Jalen did throwing the ball. 4,430. By the way, Jared Goff threw for more yards than any quarterback in Eagle history. And he had 30 touchdown passes to 7 picks. You've never had a quarterback in your franchise history throw for more yards than that. Jared Goff. And who would have thought this? The Lions have 2 first-round picks this year, and they're not going to go get a quarterback. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy that the Lions are going to win the Matthew Stafford trade. Huh. Whoa. And where's Jared playing next week? Who's Jared? Oh, no, I said winning record. That guy led the Lions to a winning record. A winning record in Detroit. Way to go, Jared Goff. And one thing is for sure, well, he was the better pick over Wentz. How he messed that up, too. It's all good. You know, he barely gets the quarterback right. We'll see what happens in the postseason. Funny, I see Dak starting to rear its head a little bit around here. Dak! Woo-wee! Dude, this is going to be so much fun this postseason. Howie's the best GM in the NFL. Really? He is, right? So here, look at what Philiopolis does. He enjoys a guy burning your house down, and he wants to come back and build your house after he burns it down for you. Then he wants you to thank him for building the house again, even though he lit the thing on fire. That's what he wants you to do. Oh, man. Dan, I think the Eagles, Brad, dude, you got more issues than that. Worry about what's going on right now, man. Worry about what's going on right now. Trust me when I tell you. Hey, here's the playoff race. You need to worry what's going on right now. Okay? Here's the NFC playoff race, and I want you to listen. Go here with me. Eagles, Jalen Hurts. 49ers, Brock Purdy. Vikings, Kirk Cousins. Bucks, Brady. Okay? Cowboys, Dak. Giants, Dimes Jones. And I will say this about Geno Smith. He had a better passing season than Jalen Hurts did. Good for Geno. Geno outplayed Jalen Hurts this year as a passer. Completely did. It's not close, actually. It's not close. Geno Smith threw for 30 touchdowns. 30 touchdowns. Do you want to hear something, Xander? The year that Geno Smith had is the year you wanted Hurts to have. That's the year you wanted Hurts to have. What did Geno throw for? 42.82. 30 TDs. Jalen Hurts. Well, Seals, he missed games. No shit. Dual threat. Those guys don't play all. Hey, let me see something here. Outside of Josh Allen, how many dual threat guys are on this list? Zero. No dual threat guy on that. Dual threat. He can go nowhere with somebody like that. Geno's a better passer than Jalen. That's a fact. Played out this year. Or how about this? Let's take that back. He had a better year than Jalen did throwing the ball. Numbers tell it. Numbers tell it. His completion percentage, attempts, completions, yardage, touchdowns, everything. Everything passing-wise. Dual threat. This guy's delusional. Is just straight up a hater. About what? You playing poorly going into the playoffs? Aren't you aggravated? Thank God the only other guy that is in the same position as me is Angelo. Because Angelo was pissed off this morning. I texted him. I'm with him. I was like, that team is not ready to play. And he agreed. So wait a minute. Angelo Cataldi on WIP saying the same shit I am. We're the only two guys doing that. So we both must be haters. Are we both haters? Or is it just subject to me? Huh? Even Angelo was like, that was a shitty effort. And they're not playing very well going into the playoffs. I'm paraphrasing. But Angelo thought that was a horrible display of football. Oh, no. Oh. You're not Angelo. You're an outsider. Outsider? Don't ever say that somebody who's ever put their hand in the mud is an outsider in anything. Remember, you sit in the stands, dude. Remember that. When it comes to talking to big sills like that, all you have to know is this. You sit in the stands and you wave pom-poms and you drink your beers and eat your hot dogs. I actually put my hand in the dirt. You haven't. You're an outsider to my game. I'm letting you in my game. Okay? I'm letting you in my game. That's what I do. You're an outsider. You're an outsider. Ever talk to a dude that played at every level like that? You sit in the stands and you go to the bathroom and you go buy your cotton candy. I put my hand in the dirt. There's a difference. An outsider hack on the radio, I get it. But don't talk to me like that. Don't ever talk to me like that. You have no idea how many hours it takes to play one play in that league. No idea. Outsider? Bro, Nobody who's ever put their hand in the dirt. Did you not see that on display this last week? When DeMar got injured and everybody was rallying around one another. Outsider. You're an outsider. Angelo had to be in a market 50 years to talk about the Eagles because he's an outsider. But because he spent so much time covering them, it becomes part of the fabric. Very true. By the way, I'm a gigantic fan of Angelo. Angelo doesn't ever confront the coaches, though. You know why he doesn't? Because he wants to have a pure thought and a pure take, not having to kiss someone's ass for a press pass. That's why. Move on. You think this 2022 team, let me ask it one more time. Thank you, Hollywood. You think this 2022 team is better positioned for playoffs and a playoff run than what the 17 team was? Do you? Do you think that? I don't. I don't. The 2017 team was not hot going into the playoffs, seriously. Well, how many wins did they have coming down the stretch? Not confident at all, says Trevor. Trevor, thanks for coming aboard, brother. Close game to the Raiders and Atlanta. Did they win, Sean? You lost games. Cowboys and Saints. In the last month, you're 2-2. You feel you're in a good position right now heading into the postseason playing 2-2 ball. You think playing 500 ball, you're in a good with a hurt quarterback. You're in good shape. NFC's a cakewalk. Only San Francisco, says Joseph. Joseph, not playing the way you did against the Giants. Not playing the way you did against the dude. If Tyrod Taylor plays, it's an even more interesting game. Lost 2 without MVP Hurts. So what? That's part of dual threat. You don't have that excuse. Not one of these quarterbacks that are going to the postseason, outside of Josh Allen, who threw for 4,000 yards still and 35 touchdowns, is dual threat. Missing games? That's part of it. Well, our MVP quarterback, he missed it. Well, that's on your quarterback, and that's on the way he plays the game. Who you got in the Super Bowl? Rashad, I got the Eagles still and the Bills. I'm wavering on one of them, though. Wavering on one of them. Jalen can outscore anyone in the postseason. Right. Joey B! Dude, that guy's a stud! Joey B! Dude, you see the crowd in Buffalo, too? That was electric. Hey, by the way, the Bills are winning the Super Bowl, and it won't be close. Dude, there's just a higher calling that's going on with that team. They're not going to be denied. This season's over. Bills are winning the Super Bowl. DeMar, Hamlin, FaceTiming. Then he's sending out tweets. Then he's saying OMFG when a guy takes it back. I mean, the whole thing is storybook. Player died tonight. An NFL player died on the field. Tonight, a week ago, a National Football League player died on the field. Was resuscitated. Gave even more life to that Bills team. And what a story. It's so awesome. What a story, man. An NFL player died on the field. Players in tears. And then players in tears on Sunday in Buffalo. Bro, it was a great sign and a great scene. That's everything you want, man. That's drama. That's why the NFL has massive numbers right there. Because that's great stuff, man. And the Eagles are farting away with the backup JV Giants. Playing 60 minutes of ball versus some dude named Webb. Some dude named Hillary Webb or whatever his name is. Webb. The only Webb I have ever known that plays in the NFL is Richmond Webb. He was an offensive tackle for Marino. Some guy named Webb who hadn't thrown a pass in a decade. Almost beat you for home field advantage. I mean, seriously, dude. There's Jalen in the fourth quarter. I'm going like this. Yeah, I bet that was planned. So we don't want to show everything. Yeah, I bet you didn't want to show your quarterback in the fourth quarter playing still. Wouldn't you rather have had that wrapped up? Of course not. Joey Webb. Is his name Joey Webb? It doesn't matter. Hillary Webb. They were playing. Hey, the Chiefs played 60 minutes of ball too. Yeah, because their dynamic is a little different. They had like 3 teams chasing them down. And if they lose, but they weren't playing, get this, the Chiefs weren't playing the backups to the backups. You were playing stiffs. They were taking guys off the practice team. And there were the Eagles with their frontline guys in a ball game. Yeah, the Chiefs had to play a game. They had to play because they were playing against starters. You're playing against tomato cans. One thing is evident. This is going to be either the greatest year in Eagle history or the biggest shitburger in the history of Philadelphia Eagle football. There's no gray area here. This is either going to be one or the other. This is all you want. This is the biggest shitburger, or this is going to be a moment right next to 17. Holy cow. Hey. Oh, my God. Oh, Jalen isn't 100%. They played half strength. So you thought that was smart then, Maniac, to have your quarterback who's not 100% in the fourth quarter against scrubs. What? You couldn't close out the fourth team of the Giants? Dude, Temple would have put up a better game. A Temple. Hey, Rock, you know what the Eagles played like against the Giant scrubs? Tomato cans. You think everybody, Sileo, we plays tomato cans. Well, ain't they? Well, ain't they? You got the heart. Eagle guys, you have the heart. But you just fight like a damn gorilla. Who'd you fight? Well, hey, you know who the quarterback of the Giants was? Xander. You guys knew who the quarterback of the Giants was on Sunday? Spider Rico. Spider Rico was the starting quarterback for the Giants. Spider Rico. Would you fight? I fought Spider Rico. Oh, Jesus Christ. The Eagles fought Spider Rico Sunday and almost got beat. Had you on the ropes. Had you on the ropes. Gary Cobb, 425, Xander. Please send it off to him. He just got back with me. He's been doing a lot of work, Giants and Eagle stuff he had to do for Fox 29. So, Gary Cobb at 425. Hey, Spider Rico. Good game against the Eagles, man. I'm very proud of you. You put up a hell of a fight. Mickey wants to see you upstairs. He put you on Skid Row. The Eagles are on Skid Row. Hey, Mick, I lost my locker. When you fight like that, you lose your locker. You put my stuff on Skid Row. You put my stuff on Skid Row. Mick needed the locker. We can go deep with a healthy defense. Dude, you can't go deep with shitty coaching. Okay? You can't go anywhere with bad coaching. Rams won the trade. They got a Super Bowl. Fair enough, Ron. And now they're doomed for the next, 2024. No first rounders for sorry-ass football. Hey, that's kind of like you guys. You guys got your Super Bowl, and then you played shit ball for a couple of years. Now you're back, and he'll rip the team apart in the offseason because 14 free agents. He'll tear it down again, and you guys will suck next year because you're scheduled. And do you know who the Eagles are going to be next year? The Arizona Cardinals. Remember I said that. The Arizona Cardinals. That schedule looks good, man. Hold on here. Who's the non-conference games? Who's the non-conference games? Hold on here. I got it here. Who the non-conference? I had it written down here. I think you play the Bucks, right? You play the Chiefs. You play the Bills. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Get out of here. You're not playing all them teams. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Yep. Holy cow. Oh, yeah, this will be a whole different ballpark next year. Whole different ballpark. Oh, this thing's got Big Sil's success all over it. Hater. I don't hate anything. 10-7 next year. Probably. 9-8 next year? Maybe. Well, depends who the quarterback in Tampa is. It's not going to be Brady. Whew. Man. Eagles by the numbers. The draft order. By the way, Eagles are in good shape here for this. Gary Cobb also in hour number 2 here. Holy cow. And week 18 of the NFL. We have a ton of stuff here. Okay? Sills, please take one of the Oxy Howies prescribed. Dude, the Oxy Howies, man. You know, those get passed out at the link, so all Lake Eagle fans can take them. Because the great job that he's done. Dude, the last month, the Eagles are 2-2. Yeah, great. I don't know. Is that momentum or not? Is that 15-2 next year? Never happened. Ever. Yeah. Holy cow, man. This thing's got one and done all over it, man. I hate to say that to you guys. This thing's got one and done. Patrick Mahomes, 14-3. Who's the better player? Who had a better year? Patrick Mahomes or Jalen? Well, Jalen missed some games. Dual threat. How's that on Mahomes? How is that on Mahomes? Dual threat. Oh, man, this is too much here, man. Unbelievable. Seals, the only way I see the Eagles getting better next season is the Chiefs. The Chiefs are superior to Philly's offense. Mahomes is special talent. Seals, you got to dye your hair green if we win the Super Bowl. Carlos, we'll do something. Maybe a golden thong. Why are you so upset? Because you played like shit. Is that easy enough of an answer for you? Is that okay? Because you played like shit again. Is that right? Right? I know. I'm going to get his shirt one and done. That was Big Sills in college. One and done, baby. Big Sills goes for the money. I'm a one and doneer, baby. Big Sills had another year eligibility. No, I'm out, man. I'm all about making the rock. How you done? Gary Cobb, 425. We'll talk to our friend from Fox 29, get his take on how the momentum is on the side of the Eagles. Plus, we will look at the Eagles by the numbers for 2022 season. We'll do that next. Please hit the like button. Keep it here on the